Hey John, come on, we gotta do the review.
No, man, I got this eye fetish. Hey everyone, I'm John.
And I'm Ethan, and we're here to bring you a review of the new science fiction independent movie, I Origins.
So, going into this movie, my expectations, I didn't really have any. I hadn't seen the trailer or anything.
Right, the most I did was read IMDb, basically.
Yeah, and but what I did, one thing I had in mind going into it was that this year kind of has a mixed track record regarding science fiction films.
Right.
We've had some very, very good ones such as Edge of Tomorrow and X-Men Days of Future Past
That was good.
and Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer was good.
All incredible movies. And but we've also had some very bad ones such as The Signal and Earth to Echo and, in my opinion, Lucy.
Not in mine.
You can watch our review of that. We were split on that one.
Yep.
So I wasn't going into this movie expecting it to be bad, but
Right.
I was worried, given that, we've had a mixed track record this year of science fiction films.
Right.
But what I wound up getting was not what I expected, and that's that it's not really a science fiction movie.
Right. I don't know if there were trailers for it, but it was advertised as a science fiction movie, and really, you don't get to the science fiction element until the third act.
Yeah, this movie is much more of a romance drama type of thing than science fiction.
Right. And that's really a bad thing when you try to advertise it as a science fiction movie, and then they just don't give it to you until almost the end of the movie.
And even then, in that third act of the movie, that's still not really the focus.
Right. And it's not even that big of a science fiction element. I mean, yeah, there is some liberties taken with there's a new thing in the world that they have to use now, but then again, it's not really the focus of the story.
Yeah. This movie will not appeal to people who are just fans of science fiction and who go in wanting to see that.
Right.
This will appeal much more to romance and drama movie fans. But I have to say, I mean, this movie is a romance drama with the science fiction element thrown in to make it just more interesting, and I like that. I thought it made for a pretty good movie because just the romance part of it is honestly pretty run-of-the-mill familiar.
Yeah, it is really just a boy meets girl, boy falls in love with girl, and then they have their relationship from there, along with a few,
twists and turns.
Twists and turns along the way.
I mean, there's definitely a few unique things that happen in this movie.
Very unique twists and turns, yeah.
Which we won't spoil, but for the most part, it doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it does a pretty solid job of just,
being pretty original.
Yeah. So, how'd you feel this movie was acted?
I thought it was acted really well. I mean, given that it does have a very, not known cast, the only name I can really bring up is Steven Yeun, and he worked on The Walking Dead.
He's not really even
that famous, but he still does a good job. So, even though it is an unknown cast, I really gotta give it to him, because they did a really good job. The protagonist and his girlfriend did a really convincing job that they were a couple in love, and I really like that about
They had great chemistry in their relationship.
Right. Even if the characters were a little obvious of their roles, I mean, you have your protagonist, you have the girlfriend,
the funny guy,
which was played by Steven Yeun, and you have the other characters. So even though the character roles were pretty obvious, I still have to hand it to them that they did a good job of portraying them.
Yeah. What stood out more to me than just the straight up acting was the chemistry between the characters. Mm-hmm. I thought, especially the main couple, they were kind of an unexpected couple, not something from a stereotypical romance movie, but they really sold their relationship pretty well. They made you care about it and you felt for them.
Right. The way they meet is actually really interesting. I like the way the movie handles that. But I thought it would go on for a little longer, the way he tries to find her. But actually, I think the way that he found her was really original. I like that that the movie did that.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about how the story went in this movie? Just in general, how the plot progressed.
How the plot progressed. I thought it progressed really nicely, even though at points, I would say at the end of the second and beginning of the third act, there were long spans of time that were just skipped over. And I don't know how I felt about that. I mean, I wish they could have taken their time a little slower.
It was kind of confusing, you think?
Not really confusing, but I mean, you get what happens at the end of those time lapses. But I don't think they really needed to make large spans of time.
Like choppy, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. But I thought it was okay for the most part.
Yeah, the story it had me entertained.
Definitely,
for the most part. It
definitely entertaining. Yeah.
Again, it's pretty familiar. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but I did enjoy it. It kept me in it. It was paced reasonably well. I think the beginning was a little bit rocky, because you kind of don't get any real story elements for the first 20-something minutes.
Right. Well, the first act does have to focus on how the boy meets girl, and then how they fall in love. and then it ends with the second act. But now that I think about it, in the beginning of the third act, that's when they start to bring in the science fiction element to the movie. It actually starts to get really choppy when they try to bring it in.
Yeah.
Right.
It kind of seems like it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, like you're really not expecting, these things are happening and I don't really know why, but I'll go along with it then.
Yeah. So, all in all things considered, what are you going to give I Origins out of 5 stars?
I Origins, it is a pretty basic love story, boy meets girl, and then they have their relationship through that. But the twists and turns that this movie takes is really, really surprising, and I have to give them that because they did catch me on surprise a lot, or catch me off guard. What else? The main character is well acted. Everyone's really well acted, even though they have pretty obvious roles. I have to really give this movie credit. So I think I'm going to give this movie a 3.9 out of 5 stars.
Alright, well, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was, doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it kept me entertained. Solidly well acted.
Yeah.
Had some really good twist little elements in there, so I'm going to give I Origins a 3.7 out of 5 stars.
Alright, well, I'm glad to hear that.
So, what do you guys think of I Origins? Have you seen it? Are you planning to see it? Let us know in the comments. And make sure to follow us on Twitter at StubMasters. We tweet very often about movies and the movie industry.
That's right, yeah.
And what's going on with us. So, alright, for StubMasters Reviews, I'm John.
And I'm Ethan.
Have a great day.